Well, good day, everyone. This is CERT Instructor Ron. Hey, I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about, well, emergency preparedness. So, this is a guide. There's links on the internet that you can download and get information from for your particular hazard, perhaps in your area. This is something we hand out. So, I've still got some of these on hand. But what I wanted to talk to you folks about is lighting. Now, some of you folks may think that you have it covered. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. But there's a lot of options out there. Two of the options that I don't have here on the table, I've got in the house somewhere, um, or things like oil lamps. And I can remember as a kid in about 1974 or so that my uncle, when we moved back to Oklahoma, he gave my mom an oil lamp, an old fashioned one that you see on the table. And he said, "Hey, sis, you're going to need this because you're in Oklahoma now and you're going to have times when the lights go out." Well, my mom already knew. And my grandma knew, and she had a couple too. So, that was kind of the old thing. I guess I'm telling on myself. But, you can still use those and they're good to have. I just don't like the proneness of perhaps a fire starting. Um, so you have to be very careful with them. And I don't know of anybody that started a fire, but, well, I know one person that caught her house on fire lighting a lantern inside. So that's very dangerous because a lot of times, if in mechanical practicality, what happens is when you light a lantern, not a propane lantern because that's a mist gas, and with um, if you're using something like gasoline lanterns or something like that, it takes it a minute, not nearly a minute, but um, a second or two, a minute, whatever, half a minute, to get that pipe pot that's being pumped in there that basically mystifies that gas. And so at that time, when you light a lantern, it just flames up, and flames can come out of the top, and well, attach itself to your curtain, and your house burns down. And that actually happened to a friend of mine. Yeah, and so they tell you don't light lanterns in the house. And the biggest reason is that potential fire hazard. So, yes, anytime you have an open flame with a candle or any of the time, those lamps are used, there is a potential danger. Your cat could jump on the counter and knock the thing off. Who knows? But there's a lot better options. And I'm going to go over some simplistically, and then I'll tell you probably what my favorites are. Um, this one I've got, and it's just a little flashlight. It doesn't shine very far. It's maybe 20, lumens or something. I don't know. But the one thing about it, if you need a flashlight, leave it hanging somewhere, and it's always going to be ready. And the reason is, um, you have a generator here that you kind of pump, and after you pump it so long, you can turn it on and it works. But uh, about 15 minutes or so, it's all it takes, I guess. And some are probably longer lasting and brighter, but it's always a good source because it's probably always going to be there um, as long as the capacitor in it or whatever to storing electricity is good. So these are always a good option, but long term lighting probably not practical. You probably find yourself sitting in the dark. And of course, we all have flashlights. Now, this is one of the ones that I have, and it's a Pelican, and this one actually glows in the dark. So, what's neat about it is that it operates on three batteries, and it's very bright. I'll kind of show you. So, you can see it's bright, and it has a second stage, not as bright, and then it has an SOS type mode. And it's good. But the good thing about this flashlight is even if the lights go out, if you've got some light to the thing, you can see it. So if it's hanging on the wall or something, it's easy to get. in case of, an emergency, it's waterproof. I can't remember off the top of my head how many meters or what, but it's a good option. You just have to have plenty of batteries. So you need to go buy a 18 pack of double A's and probably change those out, every year. Use them as some remotes or whatever. So these are a good option. Um, this is a good option. Now, this is a fishing light. I bought this a few years ago at Walmart, and the neat thing about it is it runs on um, three, yeah, double A batteries. Okay, not triple A, but double A. And I've seen these things light up for a week. So it's completely waterproof. Just twist it, and it gives you enough light to light up maybe 10 by 10 area, hang it up, and you can see adequately. I don't know if you can read by it. If you're close enough, you can. But it's a really good option. And a good thing about it, being it's a fishing light, it's a green light, and they say that's a better light to use for crappie and other species of the fish. And the idea is little fish come to it and microplankton and whatever, and the little fish start feeding the big ones, come and gobble, 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 so to speak. But anyways, it's a LED, and it's good to put a hanger on it or something. This is actually off a stringer and hang it from somewhere and get lighting. So these are really good. If you have it outside, it's waterproof. You don't have to worry about it. Just twist off and on. Um, Another option are glow sticks. We all know about those. You can, shake them, stamp them. Sometimes you want to do that with people, let me tell you. But anyways, they're good. They don't put off much light, but they put off some light. So if you buy a bunch of those, and these are cheap, like a dollar or less in most cases, you can hang them here and there, whatever. But it's not a renewable source, so to speak, except going back to the store and buying more. So for temporary lighting, they're not too bad if you're expecting, an hour or two of electricity goes off, but you never ever know. So you have to think in that long term deal, because like I've said before, in trying to tell people in preparing, I remember in about 2002, we had utility poles that snapped all over the way from Yukon into western Oklahoma, and all those poles were laying down, and the people the furthest out it was going to take them, and they probably accomplished it a little faster, but about 30 days was the expectation, because they had to go drill the new spots for the poles, set the poles, run the wire. So it was quite an endeavor. So you never know what's going to happen. I've said it before, whether it's some ice storm that snaps poles quite often here in Oklahoma and other states, or somebody is messing around in their car and hits a utility pole and takes out the utilities for an hour or two or 4 hours. But in any case, you need to have something in lighting. The most important thing, or somebody's going to fall. This is another one. It's not bad. It's LED, and it puts off quite a bit of light. It could probably light a 10 by 10 room pretty easily, at least to see yourself around. This one I think runs on D batteries, so you need to have those batteries in hand, and some in storage just in case something happens. So it's a good idea to buy some extra batteries. I don't know how long this thing will run. I've used it before when the lights went out, and yeah, it's pretty adequate, so it's good. I probably need to change out the batteries in it, but as you can see right now, it's still working. And unfortunately, whether it's me or somebody else, there's going to be that time you just accidentally forget, and it sets a year, and then when you need it, it might work, half the time or whatever, and it's all because you can change the batteries out. So if you're not one to change batteries out, well, let's talk about our next option. All right. I've got a couple of these, and this is what the name of the company is Lucy, And this thing is totally waterproof, so you could probably throw it in the river and it's good. I wouldn't suggest it, but it's activated by solar power, so you need to get some decent light to it. And on this one, on the top, you can look at it and you can see that it's either charged or it's not. But if you're getting it charged, um, you're going to turn it on. It's got three stages of light. Um, a dim and then a brighter light and then a blinking light for SOS or whatever. So it's a good light. Uh, Again, it's solar. You don't have to worry about it. You just have to worry that it is being charged. So wherever you set it, in and out of the way, um, make sure it's getting enough light that when you need it, it works. And that's the only thing about using solar. If you don't have it in the right place at the right time, when you need it's probably not going to work. So this one works pretty well. And then another one, we'll say in recent years they've come out with, and this is a good one too. I don't know how waterproof this one is, but what's really neat about it is that you can actually plug it into the wall if you have a plug-in that works, and you can charge this, but it's solar too. And the caveat is that you can use this to charge your phone. So there's a lot of options out there. Get one or two of them. Always have some. Um, if you like the fact that you can charge your phone and need to charge your phone because maybe you don't have a car or maybe your car's totaled, this is something that would be perfect for people. And so you can look these things up online, get one, have one, and now you have a way to charge your phone. And there's probably other ones out there. There's some that you can crank with a handle and generates power, and a radio. There's just so many. But I like the solar option. It's just like I said, you really have to pay attention. You need to keep this panel on top clean so that sunlight gets to it. You don't have to necessarily, set it in your window to keep it charged, but near the proximity of where you're getting plenty of light. And sometimes that light could be, just artificial light inside. So you need to check it, see what happens, and if not, you're not getting the adequate light. Charge it every once in a while, and with electric power. But I would advise that you put it somewhere that you're getting plenty of ambient light, and that way it's ready to go. So that's your options. Maybe there's something I forgot. Maybe something that Tesla invented that's pulling energy out of the air and you're getting that free, but I don't think so yet. But yeah, that's your options. And so if you're going to get something battery powered, make sure that you're changing those batteries out once a year. And if you're some other source like a kerosene lantern or something along those lines, make sure you have plenty of that too, and get a fire extinguisher that you can put nearby. So if something gets knocked over, you can put that fire out, and make sure that it's rated for that fire. So kind of a rundown for you. If it's an A type, it's ash, something that's paper, wood, something like that. B comes in a barrel. C is chemical. So that's the ABCs of fire. And there's other ones out there, but you're probably not going to get into those using kerosene. So anyways, that's all I got for you. Please like and subscribe, and leave your comments. Tell me what you're using for, when the power goes out. Thank you.